The accuracy to the report that Pickens was late on Christmas Day to the game against the Chiefs?
Um, Man, that's a few days back. I really don't know. I have the answer to that. To be quite honest with you, I got a lot going on in pregame. Um, I can't answer that definitively.
That was Coach Mike Tomlin when he was asked about George Pickens being late to the Christmas game. And as you heard, he sounded like he was caught off guard about the question. You know, Coach Mike Tomlin was defending George Pickens all season, even with the interception. You know, in the Chiefs game, George had nothing to do with that. Some people say, hey, he's enabling, you know, and some people think, hey, man, this is a great game of chess that Mike Tomlin is playing. You know, he's doing everything, protecting George, keeping that trade value up. And then right when George feel comfortable, pull the rug from under him, trade him in the offseason and get the most compensation you can. Because if it looks like you're going to trade him, you're saying bad things and you're blaming him for interceptions, saying he's not running routes, and it looks like it's coming to an end, teams are going to lowball you. Oh, no, man, George is good. We're good. We're moving forward. We're also listening, but we're moving forward. And then you get what you want. Oh, well, you know, that's just the business. You act like they wowed you when meanwhile you were shopping him the whole time. But you're going to have to do something because George Pickens, you know, you don't want to have George Pickens not under contract next season. He may try to force a trade, body language and things like that. You just don't want it. George Pickens need a lot of attention. You seen it on Hard Knocks with the interception. Wasn't even his fault, and you still had to baby him. Let's just keep it real. Stay with me. Stay with me. First play of the game. So if you thinking you're going to not offer a guy like that a contract and he's going to stay engaged for 17 games next year, you got to be out your mind. So you're either going to give him a contract now on the offseason or you got to trade him. Those are your only two. Or man, I can just imagine the headache you have all season, just wondering, man, is this guy going to act right? Man, what's going I don't think it's worth it. The production that he put out there, it's just not worth it. He's a great talent. He can get there, but it just ain't worth it, man. You know, you seen that people say, hey, man, he put up with AB, man. AB, sure, he put up with some production with AB. AB was the top receiver for about a 5-year stretch. Man, AB was everywhere. Pizza Hut commercials, man. I mean, it wasn't nowhere you couldn't see AB. And AB showed up in big times, man. Playoffs, he showed up. So, you know, he got a lot of production out of AB, man. When you getting that type of production, man, who can blame him? But George Pickens ain't nowhere near there. He can get there, but you're not in the conversations for the top receivers in the league. You know, and you're in your third year. You know, so you know it's a big difference, and people get treated different. And Mike Tomlin is a player's coach, and that's why he does what he do with the players. That's all in being a player's coach. I got to cater to the players. My coaching caters to the players to get the most out of the players. That's what happens. That's why players like playing for Mike Tomlin. They can relate. You know, you seen it with Minka. Minka came in. What up, Minka? You know, the slang, and you're relatable. He's a coach that, you know, you can go to and say, hey, coach, man, let me talk to you. And you say, what's up, man? What's on your mind? Boom, boom. And y'all can connect that way. There's some coaches that you may be scared to approach and be like, nah, I'm going to just go ahead and maybe I'll tell the assistant he can relay it for me. You know, I don't want to get in the doghouse or get benched or whatever the case may be. But it don't seem like that's the case with Tomlin. But with Pickens, man, you got to make a decision. What are you going to do? You know, I wouldn't dare try to gamble this. Now, this is a gamble here. Going in without nah. That's too much of a gamble, knowing how you have to baby George. Everybody has to come over and say something and do this. The scouts were right about George so far. Everything that they said about George Pickens so far was right. If you look at what they said, there's a lot of teams said they wouldn't touch him. They said, man, he's a talented guy, but he need a lot of leadership. If he goes to a place with veterans, he'll be okay. If he goes to the right place, he'll be okay. Fall into the right hands, it'll be okay. But people said I wouldn't touch him. They all said he was one of the best receivers in the draft, though. They all gave him that. Nobody took his credit. But just what you have to put up with to get it, people didn't think it was worth it. And now, fast forward to the Steelers. What do you think? Juice worth the squeeze. So, now, Khan, it's a new regime. It's a new regime, man. I think Khan is more, I think they may be closer to trading than signing him, if you ask me. The way things going, especially with the optimistic comment. Hey, George, are you optimistic about the future, your future, in the offense of Steelers? Nah. Some people say, hey, maybe he didn't know what optimistic means. George knew what optimistic means. George is not stupid. He don't like to talk to the media, but George ain't stupid. Not by a long shot. He knows what it means. Maybe that was his step one to try to get up out of there. No, I'm not happy about the future. Oh, well, you got to read between the lines. Let us make a move before you start acting out. So it's something, and it's here. You can't run and hide from it no more. You got about a month and some change, a free agency come, and then what you gonna do? And if you are going to get rid of George Pickens, you got to have a plan. You can't do it like Deontay Johnson when you trade and you ain't have a plan. You got to have a plan, because once you get rid of George, that's it. That's the offense. Even with George, the offense struggled. So you start from scratch if you don't got George. So you got to have a plan if you're the Steelers, if you're going to get rid of Pickens. If that's what you're thinking, hey, man, we cannot go any farther with this guy. He's showing up late to games. And we just don't want the distraction. The camera is going to be on George every game. Every game that the Steelers ain't doing good. You seen it with A.J. Brown. Soon as they know that there is a disconnect or there's something going on, you see with the A.J. Brown and in the Jalen Hurts situation. Soon as they knew A.J. was fed up with not getting the ball, cameras always on him. As you seen it, they was winning a game. They winning. And A.J. reading a book. Whenever you seen a wide receiver read a book, that's just him calming his emotions down. We're winning, but I ain't got the ball, but I can't explode because we're winning in the playoffs. So I need to do something that kind of like ease the frustration, but not show it. Let me read a book. So just think about the cameras being on George Pickens, knowing he ain't getting no deal. It's going to be distraction. All the questions. Hey, Mike. George. Hey, Mike. What about George? Hey, Mike. What about George? Just like this year. And when the production ain't there, like I said, those questions get old. You like, man, hey, we got to do something with George, because the production don't outweigh these questions. So the off season is here, and there's no more kicking the can down the road. There's no more skipping the questions. You got to make a move. And everybody's going to be watching to see what moves the Pittsburgh Steelers make when it comes down to George Pickens. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching the video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell to get all the new videos. And until next time, I'm out.